If you've been brewing coffee at home for a while, chances are you've come across Breville. They've got a bit of a reputation, especially among people who care about temperature, balance, and the ritual that comes with brewing. But today, we're not talking espresso or grinders. We're looking at something a bit more laid back, but no less technical: the Breville Luxe Brewer. This is their thermal carafe version, priced around $350. And while that might seem steep for a drip machine, it's trying to bring something else to the table: precision, versatility, and even cold brew. But does it live up to the promise? Let's talk through that. Brewing coffee, at least for us, is part ritual and part routine. Some days we just want to press a button. Other days, we like to dial things in. And that's where the Luxe starts to make sense. At a glance, the Luxe Brewer feels like something you'd want on your kitchen counter long-term. It's got that Breville aesthetic: clean lines, soft brushed finish, and no excessive chrome. It's large but not awkward, and it carries weight in a way that feels more appliance you can rely on, rather than just a shiny kitchen toy. Setting it up is pretty straightforward. The water tank lifts off, which makes filling it at the sink a lot less messy. It also has a built-in Claro Swiss filter and very clear markings, which helps if you're paying attention to water quality or just want less scale buildup over time. Now the interface, well, you might need a moment to get used to. Not because it's complicated, but because it's flexible. You've got options: hot brew, cold brew, and a custom setting. Once you learn your way around, you'll probably appreciate the thoughtfulness behind it. But right out of the box, you'll want to give it a little time. Now let's get into what this brewer is actually offering. The Luxe is trying to bridge a tricky gap. It wants to be simple enough for your morning autopilot, but still detailed enough for those who like to adjust their bloom volume, water temperature, or flow rate. And that's exactly what the custom brew setting is for. Let's start with the basics. The default hot brew is based on SCA Gold Cup standards. While the Luxe itself hasn't been certified yet, it uses the same tech as the previous precision brewer, which was. That means temperature stability is tight, thanks to a PID controller. You're not getting wild heat swings. Instead, it holds a steady brew temp in the range of 197 to 204 degrees Fahrenheit, which most light to medium roasts tend to prefer. The thermal carafe is another thoughtful touch. It doesn't just keep your coffee warm. It actually maintains a drinkable temperature above 150 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 4 hours. No burnt taste, no hot plate reheating, just gradual heat loss, which is exactly what you'd hope for in this kind of setup. We also need to mention the filter baskets. You're getting both flat bottom and cone-shaped baskets included. This might sound minor, but it actually gives you more control over flavor than most people realize. The cone basket works well with bright, citrus-forward beans. Meanwhile, the flat bottom brings out more rounded, chocolatey notes, especially in medium and dark roasts. Now, cold brew. This is where the Luxe pulls ahead of most brewers in this price range. It doesn't fake it with iced coffee. Instead, it actually steeps coarse grounds with room temperature water, and it can hold that brew in suspension for up to 24 hours. That's proper cold brew, smooth, less acidic, and ideal for summer mornings. You can set it to start brewing whenever you want, which takes the guesswork out of timing. It's rare to find this kind of precision in a countertop brewer. So, how does it hold up in everyday use? Well, on a typical morning, you just fill the tank, hit the brew button, and it figures out the rest. It senses how much water you've added and adjusts the brew size automatically, which makes things simple whether you're making a full pot or just a few cups. For bigger batches, it uses the flat bottom basket and gives you around 8 to 12 cups of smooth, balanced drip, something you'd happily pour for guests. For smaller brews, it switches to the cone basket, and this is where grind size starts to matter a bit more, since it brews those smaller volumes pretty fast, under 3 minutes. You may need to grind a little finer to pull out more flavor. Now, the cold brew mode works a bit differently, but feels just as thoughtful. You set the brew time, walk away, and it holds everything in place until the moment it's scheduled to release. It works well with light roasts too, especially if you give it a longer steep. Just remember to pop off the lid from the carafe before brewing, since that's what activates the valve properly. Altogether, the performance is solid, it's quick, the temperature stays steady, and the coffee comes out clean. You may need to adjust a few things depending on your roast, but once you're familiar with how it moves, it really handles most of the work for you. Now, if you're looking at this brewer, you're probably also comparing it to a few others in the same tier. And at this price, you might be seeing the Technivore Maca-Master Ratio 6 Series 2, or maybe the fellow Aiden. Each has its strengths. The Maca-Master is more minimalist, but nails hot coffee. The Ratio 6 focuses on flavor depth, but lacks customization. The fellow Aiden is feature-rich and feels more like a tinkerer's dream. Compared to these, the Luxe finds its lane in offering true cold brew, more user-friendly presets, and a thermal carafe that actually works well. Now, the quirks. First, the removable water tank, while a huge plus, does leave behind a small amount of water after each brew, about 40 to 50 milliliters, which the markings account for. But if you're weighing your water, that could matter. Also, the water measurement markings are only accurate when you use the included filter. If you skip it, the actual water levels will be slightly off. And there's another thing, the control dial and menu aren't exactly confusing, but if you're expecting instant clarity, it might take a few tries, especially with cold brew. The good news is, once you've got your rhythm, it becomes second nature. In the end, the Breville Luxe Brewer feels like a thoughtful evolution. We think it suits someone who cares about coffee quality, but also wants flexibility. You can use it for weekend experimenting, trying different profiles, or just hit brew and walk away on a Monday morning. The cold brew feature makes it even more versatile if you enjoy a less acidic drink or like prepping ahead. At $350, it's not cheap, but it's also not trying to be a budget machine. You're paying for consistent brew temps, a well-insulated carafe, real cold brew capabilities, and a level of customization that still stays accessible. If those things matter in your daily cup, the Luxe holds its own in this segment. But we wouldn't recommend it for someone who only drinks 1 cup a day and wants it fast without any effort. In that case, there are simpler brewers out there and costs much lower. And it's not perfect. A few quirks remind us that no machine is. But if you're willing to learn its rhythm, we think it becomes a rewarding part of your kitchen. It brews smart, it gives you room to grow, and it meets the daily need for good coffee without drama. Well, that's all from us. If you're already using this brewer or any other, you're welcome to share your experience in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.